You all situated, buddy?
Okay, go ahead.
Mixties presents the Popcast.
Hey, my name is Brian, that is Shane, and this is the Popcast, and today we're talking about Thor, Ragnarok, and this is our spoiler review. So caution, blink, 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 blink. These are spoilers coming up. If you want to watch our non-spoiler review before seeing the movie, you can check out that. We did it yesterday. It's like 2 videos ago. Hit the channel. I'll put it in the description. But remember, this is a spoiler review of Thor, Ragnarok, and my brother Shane is about to poop his pants.
No, hey, bro. Do my arms look like Chris Hemsworth's?
No.
Well, I just figured if I hold that pose for like an hour, maybe something will happen. It's good to know.
That's definitely going to be our thumbnail. So.
Well, let me ask you this. I really enjoyed going to the movies last night, and I went with my family. We went and sat in those wonderful IMAX, beautiful seats, and it was just a really great experience. Enjoyed the whole thing. How was your experience?
It was great. The movie overall was really fantastic. I said it in our last review. It was colorful. It was like The Fifth Element meets Thor, and it was just so fascinating and funny and action-packed. And I'm going to use some tags here that other critics would use. It was a roller coaster ride from start to finish. It was action-packed. So funny. Chris Hemsworth is amazing. Whatever. Those are all things. That's true. I don't have anything necessarily to nitpick about the movie. If I had to, I would say some of the comedy seemed a little tiny, itsy, bitsy bit out of place, but not really that much.
Yeah.
My experience at the theater was interesting. I got the fan package, where I got to go early, got to take the wife, and we got popcorn and a coin. And in hindsight, the fan package is stupid. It's stupid. Okay.
Why? Why is it stupid?
Well, besides the fact there are too many people there, it's not really in the good theater. The seats aren't that big. And my wife turned to me about 5 minutes into the movie and says, "Hey, babe, you're gonna look like that guy one day, right?" Referring to Chris Hemsworth with his shirt off. And I gotta say, I don't want to disappoint you, babe, but I'm probably gonna look a little closer to Bruce Banner than Chris Hemsworth, and that's if I lose the weight. I'm not exactly on a great workout routine right now.
Yeah, that's what's wrong with the world today, is that unfortunately most people are not going to ever look like Chris Hemsworth. I mean, his body was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Okay, so before we get into that review, don't forget we have the 1600 sub challenge. We just did the 800 sub challenge a while ago. It was amazing. We gave away 3 tickets to Star Wars opening night with a movie. With popcorn and candy and dinner at their restaurant of choice. Huge giveaway. So if you thought the 800 sub challenge was good, the 1600 sub outstanding, outlandish, out of this world giveaway is gonna be sick. So get the comments in below, hit that subscribe button. Might as well give us the alerts and the share too while you're at it. And
yes, Monday or Friday, we are going to be doing the boxing video. I'm so sorry that didn't happen immediately, but it is going to happen next week. And also, don't forget to get your questions in for Brian. We're going to be asking Brian 10 questions on Tuesday while he's sitting in the barber chair. Anything you want to know about Brian, unleashed. What do you call it? What do you want to call
remember,
it? Unplugged?
It's the barbershop AMA. So it's an Ask Me Anything. We get 10
right.
questions. So get your questions in below. Make sure your questions are unique enough to get noticed. You can put them in the comments below, or you can email us at info@popcast.co, and we will we will comb through there, find the best questions, and I will answer them. There's no question is a bad question. I will answer anything. There are no restrictions. Nothing is off limits. But we're going to select the top 10. So get your comments in. Either email it or comment below. If you want the question to be anonymous, then email us and be like, I want to ask this question, but it's weird, and I don't want you to say my name. We're cool with that. I'm going to answer whatever you want, and I'm going to do it while getting a haircut because we're busy. That's the best time we could do that.
Yeah, and man, I can't hold it in no more. I just can't. We just did that whole like non-spoiler review thing, so I'm just gonna Sam Neill, Matt Damon, Luke Hemsworth. Okay, I had to get it out. They were in the movie.
Matt Damon awesome. Is in the movie. That's hilarious.
He's playing Loki. He's playing Loki on a stage.
Yeah.
It was so fantastic. And Sam Neill is Odin. And look at Chris brings in his big brother Luke Hemsworth to play the actor Thor. I'm looking at him going, that guy looks familiar. You know why he looks familiar? He looks like Chris a little bit.
Mm-hmm. You know,
Anyways, love that.
I love that scene where I was like, that's freaking Matt Damon.
It really was.
Matt
like,
Damon.
Wow, he looks so weird. He didn't even get a credit in the film, bro. Because you know why? He didn't say anything.
I think he did while he was doing the play.
Did he speak?
Yeah. He's like, brother.
Well, whatever. He didn't get a credit in the
Make
film.
me a statue with the amazing horns. Yeah. No, it was great.
You know why he didn't get a credit? They probably didn't want him to take away.
No, they couldn't give him a credit because they would have, like all the Marvel people out there have been like, what is Matt Damon playing? Oh my God. It would have been a huge thing.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I had no idea he was going to be in the movie. It was a total surprise. It was fantastic. I wanted to say it in the non-spoiler review, but I don't want to get in trouble. So I'm glad I could spit it out now.
Yes, there is so much I want to say in this spoiler review. I hope that this podcast is not 3 hours long. Because I'm pretty sure our software will not allow us to go past 3 hours. All right.
That's good.
So just so you guys know, there's a project that I alluded to last couple weeks, and it is a go. I'll give you guys all the details, and all the announcement will happen on Monday. We are doing a gaming-based podcast. It's not going to take away anything from this podcast. It's still a Popcast show. And I'll give you all the details, but it's going to be specifically about gaming and gaming events, and it's going to be really unique. And you guys will see it on Monday. And I'm going to try to rope Shane into it eventually as well, because Shane is like, bro, I got a lot of stuff going on.
I just don't play video games as much as I would like to. I got my little phone games. I play Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes on the phone when I'm in line at the bank.
That one's addicting.
Yeah, I got to tell you, it's my favorite game. If you haven't played Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, I'm going to give a shout out for it now. Go out there. It's fantastic.
We are not in any way sponsored by Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes.
No, it's sponsored by EA and Disney, so trust me, we ain't got nothing to do with those guys.
All right, so let's talk real quick. In the spoiler review, I did say that Jeff Goldblum stole the show as the Grandmaster, and now I can actually speak about this. He was so hilarious. His interaction between Valkyrie and his lieutenant there was so good, man.
I hate to do this to you, and I know we just did the non-spoiler review, but I'm pretty sure we're supposed to also give a little breakdown.
Yeah, all right.
Before we talk about the movie, because I know people have already seen the movie.
You're right.
I mean, just a short one.
All right.
I know.
Break it down, Shane. Give it to me, baby.
Well, just, I know we've already talked about it a little bit, but if you didn't know, of course, I got the whole cast and crew in front of me here. So, Thor's imprisoned at the beginning of this movie. He's basically out trying to figure out what the heck's going on, where, after all the events that happened with Loki. And he basically ends up in this, big gladiatorial contest against the Hulk, which turned out fantastic, by the way. And he's got to fight for the survival of his race against what he finds out is his big sister, which he didn't know he had. So it's a thrill ride, and it's the movie that's going to take us into Infinity Wars. It's going to tie us to, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's bringing the MCU together. This movie does.
Yeah. So it opens with him in, I guess, like a hell world, whatever, and he is chained up in Surtur, which is basically this big giant devil-like figure made of fire.
Played by Clancy Brown.
Played by Clancy Brown. He is supposed to bring about Ragnarok. Ragnarok is this whole of prophecy that spells the demise of Asgard, and Surtur is the one that's going to kill Asgard in the prophecy.
And basically, the old gods die, the new gods take over, and as part of Norse mythology, basically Thor takes Odin's place after Ragnarok.
Right. Thor is there trying to prevent it. So,
right.
In a super badassery way, he breaks out of the chains with Mjolnir and kills all the demons. And
I love that we got that. I'm glad we got a nice hammer scene before he meets up with his sister.
Right, and then he takes out Surtur, takes his head, right?
He just takes his crown. Yeah.
So he's been on this mission to stop Ragnarok for a long time. When he gets back to Asgard, he discovers that Loki is masquerading as Odin. Odin's not there. He's already saved Asgard. There's no more Asgard. But lo and behold, when they go to find Odin, he reveals that he is going to die, and Hela is going to come, and the big spoiler here is that Ragnarok had to have happened. It needs to happen. It needed to happen to stop Hela, and that. So there's a whole thing at the end, which we'll get to. Now, Odin dies. Go ahead.
We also get the pull in. We get a Doctor Strange pull.
Oh yes, yeah. Let's talk about Doctor Strange real quick. That was interesting.
Because that's if there's a criticism in the movie, this is it for me. I mean, I know this had to happen. We had to bring Doctor Strange into the MCU, and there's extra scene at the end of the credits in Doctor Strange that actually shows Thor. So it makes sense the way this happened. But during the course of the movie, honestly, it felt forced to me in this film. The whole Doctor Strange aspect to it, and I didn't really like Benedict Cumberbatch's facial costume. It seemed not well put together on his face for some weird reason.
So I don't have any shots of Doctor Strange, but I gotta say, in this regard, I think I disagree with you, and I'll tell you why.
All right, I definitely. It just felt wrong to me, and it didn't feel wrong. It just felt forced. Like, do they need Doctor Strange to find Odin?
Well, I'll tell you why. As a fan of Doctor Strange and of his comic books, I know that Doctor Strange, the whole point of that the role that he has taken, that burden that he has taken on as being the Grand Master, I'm not Grand Master, whatever it is. He's the defender of Earth from mystical arts, right?
Right.
So, I know it was a cameo, but I don't think it felt forced, because it makes sense that Doctor Strange in this new place, before he wasn't Doctor Strange, but now he would be like, listen, I don't want Loki here, and he immediately takes Loki and throws him. He was falling for like 35. He's like, I was falling for 35 minutes,
which was hilarious, that part of it. But it's a little OP to me. I mean, now anything that happens in this MCU, Doctor Strange can just zap it. I don't know. I just don't know how necessary. I don't know. It felt a little bit like you got to bring Doctor Strange in, so I'm going to have him show that he's completely OP above Thor, above Loki, above Odin. I mean, I don't know. It just felt a little bit. And he is OP. I mean, he is.
I don't think he's OP against the Odin force. That's a whole nother thing. But I mean, yeah. I mean, it was also he took Loki off. He caught him off guard.
Okay.
So that was a thing.
I mean, but he manhandled Thor.
He did manhandle him a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. Maybe, I don't really know about that. I don't think it was as forced. I mean, yeah, he did seem like he was a little stronger than maybe he needed to be. But, that's okay, I guess.
It just didn't feel as good as it could have to me. Something felt a little off. But it had to happen, so it doesn't ruin anything for me. It doesn't make the movie any less good. It's just, I knew this had to happen. I don't know. I'm weird about things like this in movies.
It was a good way to quickly find Odin, and so we can get to the story. So I was okay with it. Now, when Odin died, though, he was correct, and Hela was released.
Immediately.
Yeah, and I love the way the two brothers, he like pounds he hits the ground with the hammer and turns back into Thor, and so does Loki. He's like,
yeah, that was a cool scene.
And they're ready to fight, and Hela is clearly stronger than both of them. He threw the hammer at Hela, and that's the part we see in the trailer where Hela does not give a crap and just takes that hammer and breaks it into a billion pieces.
I would normally criticize, editors, producers, movie makers for showing the destruction of the hammer. But in this sense, it completely works for this movie. Because the hammers you find is just not as important as everybody thinks it is.
Yes, and that's a little spoiler. Apparently the hammer is, it holds the power, but it's not where the power comes from.
Right.
All right, so Loki tries to escape, and in doing so, they take Hela with them. And when they're in the stream, go ahead.
Yeah. The last place you want to take Hela is back to Asgard,
where all the power is. Yeah.
And what's funny is Thor knew that immediately, and he's like, Loki, no, and of course Loki runs off.
In Loki's defense too, like I love the way they're taking with Loki. Like Loki is a bad guy with some good in him. His character is evolving and changing. He's becoming a little less selfish and a little more of a brother. And even in that scene before his character is really developed, when he's like, Loki, and below you, and Loki immediately grabs his knives and he's trying to get rid of Hela. There wasn't him trying to save his own bacon. Even then, his instinct was, while he's an evil, save his own bacon kind of guy, when it comes to his brother, he does care about his brother, and it's very clear this movie.
No, he does. Tom Hiddleston is fantastic. He's a great actor, and he plays the character of Loki very well.
And playing that line, it's got to be hard. So, Hela kicks him out of the stream. And
by the way, played by Cate Blanchett, who's just a time-honored actress.
Yeah, she's amazing. And her and Thor, then she kicks Thor out of the stream as well, and she gets to Asgard. And this is when the stories depart a little bit. Another slight criticism for me, okay? I thought Hela was going to be in the movie more.
Really? I didn't feel like that. I kind of felt like any more would have been not good.
Okay. I feel like you have like this amazing actress playing this amazing character. Well, maybe we haven't seen the last of her. She's probably not dead.
Right.
And we don't know that yet. But, I'll withhold my criticism until if we see her again in any movies coming forward, then I'm okay with it.
Well, and I know what you're saying. I mean, she's supposed to come and basically, overtake the 9 realms again. We didn't get to see her, like, breaking into other realms and, like, taking it over. Like, I think was probably what you're thinking. But the reality is this movie was about the destruction of Asgard and Ragnarok. So, yeah, I guess there could have been more of her, kicking butt. But, I mean, she totally showed that, as Odin said, she's basically limitless.
Mm-hmm.
And that was proven time and time again.
Yeah, until that very end where she was trying to stop Surtur. Woo!
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. So Thor ends up getting dropped onto this trash planet. We talk about that real quick, Shane?
Yeah, let's talk it.
This is where I guess everything in the universe goes when it doesn't have a place to go. Like it's like the garbage disposal of the slipstream or whatever it is that they're traveling in.
Yeah, apparently it's I thought at first that these were ships just dropping junk off on the planet, but apparently not. It's natural phenomenon. Dropping junk onto this planet.
Yeah,
so
it's where all the portals go when there's no other place to go, I guess. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Such a really cool idea. And that's where the Grand Master is in charge. He has built this society that's very Kirby-like from the comics. Has really all the visual, everything it comes straight out of like the '80s Fantastic Four comic book.
Yes, it does.
It
does.
It's really fantastic. All the colors.
No pun intended.
I mean, yeah, no pun intended. It's great though. I mean, I love it. Like even in this picture here, you see the ornate on the wall. It looks like something from a Jack Kirby comic book.
Yeah, while watching it, I thought this. There should definitely be an award for set decoration. There should definitely be some sort of Oscar nod towards the world they created here. It's really fantastic.
It's so good. It's so good. So let's talk about Jeff Goldblum real quick, because I've tried to talk to him about him before, and you stopped me, Shane.
I'm so sorry. I get sidetracked.
I love Jeff Goldblum, obviously. But
I do too.
I loved it. What I really liked about seeing him in this role is I saw a return to the Jeff Goldblum that I grew up with. He captured the screen. He just took every scene he was in. He was, the guy in charge, literally and figuratively. But he was so good that he stole the show every time the camera focused in his general direction, man.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum, it's been a long time since I've really enjoyed him in a movie. I didn't enjoy him in the new Independence Day movie as much as I thought I would. This is the most I've enjoyed Jeff Goldblum in a movie probably since the late 90s, early 2000s.
Since Jurassic Park.
Some of the Jurassic Park stuff, or even Independence Day. I mean, this is a great return to the character that he's well known for his, kind of just spilling verbiage and kind of sewage mouth that he has where he just can't stop talking. I really like that about him. And he added such great depth into this character. He felt like he was controlling this planet. He really played the character so well. And it looked effortless.
Yeah, dude, that scene, well, it shows the first scene where it's like, I guess his cousin or something did something wrong, so he uses like the melting stick or whatever it is on him. But that scene where Loki was like, he spoke out of place, and his lieutenant tries to hand him the melting stick. He goes, "What? You want me to use the melting stick? Like speaking out of place is not a capital offense."
Yeah, and what was up there with Rachel House, the actress who played Topaz? I was looking at her. I'm like, who the heck is that? How did she get in this role?
She was great.
What's interesting, this woman actually plays Grandma Tala's voice in the movie Moana.
Really?
Yes. So I thought that was really interesting. She's basically the voice of the grandma, and she's originally born in New Zealand, and she's an actress. I've never seen her before, but I loved how she immediately hated Valkyrie, and she played a small role, but it really added nice touch.
Her and Valkyrie's back and forth was really, really quite good.
I liked it.
It really added a lot to the character. And there isn't a single character in this movie that is a waste of screen time.
100% agree with that comment.
Every single character is... What's up?
Did you catch the Willy Wonka theme song while he's on that chair ride to meet Jeff Goldblum?
Oh, yeah. That was great.
Wasn't that cool?
And when the chair ride stops, he's like, ah!
Yeah, and then he's like there. That was so great.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was really cool. Oh, on that chair ride, though, too, is... After the chair ride, I say, Stan Lee's cameo where he's the hair cutter. That was hilarious.
Oh, and the way Chris Hemsworth reacted to that haircut, he's like, you cannot cut my hair. And then when he realized it was going to go down, whether he liked it or not, he's like, please don't cut my hair. And it was so funny.
Yeah.
There it is, bro.
And that is what Shane wants to talk about, guys. Shane wants to talk about the devil's anus.
The devil's anus. I promised you an anus, and here it is. I'm sorry. When they said that in the movie, I just laughed my butt off. Man, you mean the devil's anus? I'm like, oh my God. And how appropriate is it? Because this is where the SHIT gets delivered from all over the galaxy, right? So it makes sense that it would be an anus, actually. So
I get it.
I mean, is this a little lowbrow for you right now?
It's where all the crap comes from. I get the humor. I get it.
It's great.
I get it.
Yeah.
It was funny. It made me laugh. Okay. I laughed because they kept saying the devil's anus. It was constantly. It was never stop ending. Even Bruce Banner, guys, I know the Hulk is like just a CGI character, but first of all, the Hulk was good. But I love the fact that Bruce Banner, the character Bruce Banner, the actor, always somehow manages to show up the Hulk. He's better. He is better than the Hulk every single time he's on screen. Even though the Hulk is this big, giant, fighting monster, it's always a delight to see Bruce Banner being Bruce Banner.
Well, it's Mark Ruffalo that's doing this, and the thing about Mark Ruffalo is, and this is something you may not realize, this is the first time that the Hulk's voice was actually done by Mark Ruffalo.
Really?
Previously, it was always done by Lou Ferrigno, the original Hulk from the TV series.
That makes sense. I mean,
but
it makes
Mark
sense. Mark
Ruffalo did the voice this time. And there was a difference. There was definitely more connection with the Hulk. The Hulk was funny. You've never enjoyed the Hulk interactions in any darn movie.
So he's been like,
and this is the first time.
When I know it's in the trailer too, but in the movie it was just as good when he's like, Hulk is like a raging fire.
Yes.
Thor like smoldering fire.
What did it remind you of?
I don't know.
And this is where they got it from. I'm willing to bet you. What did it remind you of?
I don't know. Tell me.
Guardians of the Galaxy. Drax.
Oh, the Drax interaction.
And the reaction between Star-Lord and Drax, Chris Hemsworth, Thor and Hulk. It's that same sort of back and forth.
Yeah, but they seem more in touch. But these two though.
Agreed.
Yeah, no, it was that part of it was great. Hulk was great. Banner was great. When they get back to Asgard, though. By the way, the whole things happen. Thor sort of beats the Hulk, but then he gets zapped, and then they are in a room and they're talking, and that's when all the conversation happens. And they convince Valkyrie, and he turns back into Banner after he sees a message from Black Widow. After he goes, computer, he's like, Point Break, and he's like, damn it, Tony. Because Tony calls him Point Break from Point Break.
Yeah.
Because he looks like a surfer. He's like, welcome, strongest Avenger. The computer was literally just trolling
that was
Thor.
So funny.
No, so they convince everybody to go back. They steal a ship. They go through the Devil's Anus. They get back to Asgard. And when they get there, all hell is breaking loose. Hela has destroyed everything. She is taken over completely in very little time.
Killing all the soldiers.
Yep. Scourge is now her right-hand man, seemingly. Even though he seems like he's just doing it for a survivor, not really like he wants to.
Yeah, I love that scene where she shows up, kills everybody, and he's like, "Oh, I'm just the janitor."
I'm just the janitor. Yeah.
Right. He's definitely a self-preserved type, and then he goes and heroes it at the end. So.
At the very end, when he realizes that the fight can be won, he tries to escape. This was great. He's going to try to escape and just get off that rock. The great part of this was when the time came to defend those people, he was like, F it. I'm a hero. And he throws off his robe, and he has those guns, and he defends all those people knowing, and then jumps down knowing he's going to die. This whole time he's been in survivor mode, and realizes that at that moment, these people's lives matter more than mine, and he really heroes it up. And I love the fact that they turned that character around, because I did not want to see that actor go out as a villain.
Yeah, I could not. It was disappointing me so much to see Karl Urban, and I know you're not supposed to feel that way, but to me, Karl Urban as an actor is not a bad guy. He's Dr. McCoy. He's been in tons of movies. And he's just not that guy to me, So I didn't want him to be that. And so it felt so good to see his redemption occur, and the fact that you're like, okay, we're okay now. Everything's all right.
Yeah, the redemption was great. By the way, Hela also wakes up her dire wolf. And it's not dire wolf. It's a big giant
but
wolf.
that's a good word for it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it has an actual term, the name, and for some reason the name is slipping right now. Our buddy John would actually know exactly what the name. Anyways, it's a very popular in the comics. The wolf that she rides in the battle. She wakes up apparently underneath Asgard. The palace is this giant catacombs of a million year ago war of soldiers and the wolf and everything. And Odin had covered up the majority of their history because it was so violent, and it makes sense.
I thought that was cool. I actually he basically conquered the 9 kingdoms or the 9, and basically
realms.
Then said, you know what, the 9 realms, and now I'm not gonna. This is not the way I want to do it. I want to be a benevolent.
Yeah, he grew up. He grew up and matured and decided to change. And Hela's back to start that chaos again. So she wakes everybody up, and they get back, and they're gonna fight. And Hemlin. Oh my gosh, Idris Elba's character. That's his name.
Oh, Idris Elba's character? That's Hemdall.
Hemdall. I think I'm saying that wrong. He used to be the guy in control of the Rainbow Bridge. Rainbow Bridge is that device that brings everybody back to
with a sword.
Well, he took the sword when Hela got there and escaped. He was in exile because the fake Odin, Loki, was trying to find him and imprison him. Because he knew that Loki was Odin. So, convenient for them. He's trying to help all these people get off of Asgard. So they're on the Rainbow Bridge, and they're trying to get across while Thor is distracting Hela. There's the Rainbow Bridge right there. And this is a great part of this, man. When the ship comes out and starts shooting all the bad soldiers that are trying to stop them. And when Banner, this is the part where I could not stop laughing for a full
all of us.
5 minutes.
No, everybody, the whole theater, everybody was just dying right here. I died, dude. This was so funny.
This was so funny. This was so unbelievably funny.
It's what should happen in every Marvel movie where this happens, but never does. And they finally, and I just want to say right now to Taika Waititi, who was the director of this movie. I want to tell you right now, the reason this movie is so great, my friend, is because this director allowed them to basically ad-lib about 80% of the lines.
Right.
80% of the dialogue in this movie is just them making it up with a basic idea of what's supposed to be said because he wanted a comfortable tone. I mean, this guy did great. And you didn't even talk about the fact that he's in the movie.
Oh, we're gonna get there. I'm waiting for a picture to show up with a minute.
Well, we're past where he met him and all that stuff. We haven't even talked about the arena yet.
We're gonna talk about it. I promise.
All right, we gotta talk about this.
Where Banner is where he's gonna reveal himself to Valkyrie as the Hulk and go down there and save the day, and he just falls out of the plane. You expect him to hit the ground as the Hulk, and then a huge fight to take place, but instead, Banner just falls on the ground. Oh,
he just slams into the bridge like a lump of wet socks, man. It was so bad. I'm like, oh my gosh.
And the way
he should be severely injured.
The way the wolf looks at him and then just steps over him like he's not even important.
And steps over it like, oh gosh, that was funny.
Dude, I'm serious. I almost wish that they would have let that breathe more because I was laughing so hard. I was missing things, dude. That moment was the funniest moment in the MCU since the Hulk picks up Loki in the first Avengers and slams him on the ground a billion times.
Well, you get a shout back out for that where Loki jumps up. Basically, he's doing the same thing to Thor. Yeah. He's like, and that now you know how it feels. Remember, he's like telling, that was funny.
The great part too, when Thor is like, it's late. It's a friend from work. Loki, look who it is. And Loki's like, I have to get off this planet.
I got to get off this planet, right?
Yeah.
That was funny. Are we going to talk about that
there he is.
scene?
That's the screen. Let's talk about the director. This is the director of the movie.
Okay, so yeah, this is Taika Waititi, and
he plays Josh.
He voices this CGI character, Josh, and he plays it so perfectly. It's how do you put it? Like The Office? How would you describe this character's interactions? Kind of like, I don't really care, but I don't know, what is it?
Yeah, it's like a character from The Office is a giant rock alien named Josh.
Yeah, and he's got his little sidekick.
He's a Korg. Right. Yeah, and the sidekick was at the end when he's like, when they asked him what's a good planet, he goes, "Oh, he's been dead, mate. That's dead from him. I've been carrying around because I feel pretty guilty about it.
Yeah, that was so weird.
Yeah,
that's what it is. It's so weird. And it's like, what the heck? Is this guy? And perfect. I don't know. I can't even describe the type of attitude that is. Maybe don't give a crap attitude. It's hard to describe, but yet at the same time has convictions. It was so trippy. But the director just nailed it. Stole the show in a lot of aspects.
Yeah, when Loki went into the prison to talk to Thor, when his image was in there, and he was talking to Thor, and then when he leaves, you see Korg coming in the screen like, "Oh, I'll get him, mate." And it's like he knew the whole time, but he was waiting for him to go away so he could prove that he's a hero or whatever. I don't know, man.
Right. He didn't want to. Yeah, it's weird. It's
we got this big ship. You want to go with us? We got this big ship.
Yeah. I don't know. It's worth watching the show again just to focus on this character. I don't know how he pulled it off,
dude. When he was like, I tried to start a revolution, but I don't think I printed enough pamphlets.
Yeah, it's just really weird stuff. It's really funny.
It was such a great character. He goes, "Oh, it's another Doug. Goodbye, Doug."
Yeah, total comedic. And there's complaints that this movie there's too much comedy. I'm sorry. You can't have too much comedy in a movie like this.
I said if I had to nitpick really hard, I would say that some of the comedy, some of it, a very small amount, felt a little tiny bit too much, but not enough.
I felt like they pulled up just before that happened. I felt like
if you have to criticize it, if I had to criticize it, find anything about it I didn't like, I would say Strange was a tiny bit OP for me, and there's some of the comedy bits were a tiny bit for his tiny bit. It was so minor though. It's like, I don't care. It was great.
Okay, yeah. You're probably right. I found the comedy great. I don't know, but me personally, I prefer probably the back and forth level, and this is what Marvel's been doing with their movies. They balance the seriousness with the comedy. So yeah, this was a little more comedic, I think, than average.
Yeah.
When you didn't even talk about when Valkyrie first picks up Chris Hemsworth off the trash planet, she basically falls off her ship.
Yeah, she's drunk. She's drunk. Yeah, right. And she gets down there and is like, he's mine, and then he falls off the ship. And then she tries to act like she's still a badass, and you're like, what's she gonna do? And then when she smacks her gauntlets together, and the ship is a giant weapon, and she just literally just wastes a bunch of people. She kills a bunch of people. It's crazy. They just all die and explode.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
I love this character. I said it in the non-spoiler review. I love this actress. Did so good on Valkyrie. Her the way she played it was like, well, what did you say, Linda Hamilton from Terminator?
She did. She says that her inspiration was basically Linda Hamilton's character from Terminator.
And it shows.
Terminator 2.
She did really, really good. She's up there. She's all the characters were great, but she really stood out for me because she's a new character, but sort of Korg. But I know Korg's a one-off. We're not going to see Korg ever again.
And if this actress seems familiar to you, she also was a main player in the movie Creed that came out in 2015, where basically she was the girlfriend of the fighter.
Oh, she was much better in this movie.
Yeah, she was. But she looked familiar to me. I kept going, where the heck did she come from? And you can go back pretty far to Veronica Mars back in 2005 and 2006, where she was Jackie Cook on that TV show.
Well, I loved her. She was fantastic. And this shot of her coming out of the ship with all the fireworks going off. I mean, the visualization of this movie, like, it was so colorful and so bright and so easy to follow. The direction was pristine. I mean, this director did so much for this movie, man. Not only
this walk was hilarious.
Not only did they direct a near perfect mixture of comedy, levity, seriousness, and storytelling, he did it in a way that allowed the audience to see everything, understand everything, that it didn't seem dumbed down, and on top of all that, played one of the main characters in the movie. Like, come on.
Right. Yeah, there's huge kudos to this director. And, you going back and just taking a look at him, it's, you could say, okay, well, what has he done before that we have seen? And when you go back, I mean, there's not a whole lot here. I mean, I go back and look at his most recent film was he did Hunt for the Wilder People as in 2016. But he's also has he has actor credits too. So he actually has acting experience. So that's probably what it is that's made him do this.
I mean, his voice delivery was on
really
point.
Good. But just looking back here, how he got this movie, this directing thing, he did Hunt for the Wilder People, What We Do in Shadows,
What We Do
a couple
in
of
Shadows
TV series.
is a hell of a movie.
Well, this is his, and now he's got Thor Ragnarok. So,
wow, it was great.
Watch for him in the future. He's something special.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope they give him more movies. I don't think he wants to do more Marvel movies, though. He doesn't want to. I remember reading something about it. He didn't want to, put himself in this role where he can only do certain kind of movies. Clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that they have this bridge scene, and what they decide is that they can't defeat Hela. All right. I love this scene when they're standing in front of Hela, and it's Loki and Thor and Valkyrie, and they're about to fight Hela, right? And the Hulk is off fighting that big wolf. Interesting enough, the wolf actually manages to pierce Hulk's skin, which was interesting. But Loki's like, zap her with your lightning, and he's like, I just zapped her with the biggest lightning bolt ever made, and it did nothing. Ever. Yeah. And it did nothing. Right? We can't beat her. And when Thor, the guy who, next to Hulk is always going to go right into a fight and do anything, when he admits, we can't beat this person. She's unbeatable, period. And then he realizes that her power comes from Asgard, so they need to destroy Asgard. And he knows how to destroy it because he just prevented it in the first place.
Right, and Odin told him in Dream World or Dreamland, whatever it was, that Asgard is not a place, it's a people.
It's a people, and that setup was so good. He sends Loki to save the day. Loki goes back, gets the helmet, throws it in the eternal flame, activates Surtur, and they get out of there. While Hela's trying to stop them, and she sees Surtur, she tries to stop Surtur. And that's an interesting fight that I wish we would have gotten more of Hela versus
I wish
Surtur.
there would have been more of that, too. That is, he takes her down pretty darn quickly.
With a gigantic sword.
Right? But he destroys the entire planet pretty quickly. So
right. I would have liked to have seen them fight a little more. We could have seen that's not the big thing I have. I wish we would have seen more of Hela, but I'll take that back if we see her again in the future. So, fun fact: this is not a spoiler for Infinity War because I have not seen Infinity War, but Thanos is in Infinity War. He's the big antagonist, right? Remember, if you follow the comic books in any way, the reason why Thanos wants to take over the galaxy is to impress his mistress, Death.
Okay.
So this woman that he loves is actually the embodiment of Death. He wants to take over the galaxy and kill all his people and become the ruler because he wants to win the heart or the hand of the goddess of death. Okay. This is really important, I think, because Hela was the goddess of the underworld, but in this movie, in the MCU, they said multiple times that she is the goddess of death. Not the underworld, not hell.
Right. No, you're right.
Goddess of death. So we don't know if we're going to see her again, but if they stick to the comic books for Thanos, Thanos' motivation is to win over the heart of death. That's why he's doing everything. And she is the goddess of death. I can see there's to be a correlation there. If you're going to pick a giant character, I would make sure that it's going to be Cate Blanchett. You know what I mean? That'd be the character I chose.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. The only thing I would say is she was locked up. So I'm not exactly sure how Thanos could have, this could have created it. So there's a little bit of a story problem there, I think, if that's the case.
Well, maybe his goal originally was to get the glove to release her. Or
maybe. Did you notice did you see the throwback to the glove that Odin had?
It's a fake.
Being a fake?
Yeah, that was a great retcon, bro. What a natural way to retcon that. Because in the first Thor movie, when they're showing they don't know they're going to do the whole Infinity Gem stuff, right?
Right.
So when they showed that, it was just an Easter egg. And when they first started making Marvel movies, remember, Marvel was on the brink of bankruptcy. They had no idea these movies were going to get so popular and they were going to do this. They wanted them to. They had a plan. But just because you plan on doing 25 movies doesn't mean you're actually going to do them. And so, Thor, they're 3 movies into this whole franchise. This is a long time ago now. And they're just trying to fit as many Easter eggs in every movie as they can to get fan interest. And it was a good idea at the time, but there was a continuity problem. They're like, well, now we want to do Infinity War. What the hell is that second glove doing in Odin's vault?
Exactly, yeah.
So having Hela say, most of this crap is fake. This is fake, that's fake. But this is real, this is real. And she almost basically says, here's the fans. This is the fake stuff. This, and this are real.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And the delivery was perfect. She just fixed the last 2 Thor movies, like, instantly.
In, 5 seconds.
In 5 seconds, she fixed the Thor movies. She, fixed the continuity problems and any of the canon issues they had. Completely fixed them in 5 seconds. It was such good writing. I was blown away when I saw that. I was like, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Can we talk about the fight between Thor and Hulk? Because that's really what that was the main event.
All right, well, let's talk about it. Who won that fight?
Thor won the fight.
Did he?
Yeah, because basically they had to, Jeff Goldblum had to knock him out. Remember, he hit the button to knock him out. He basically did his lightning and got the Hulk good.
Yeah, he did. But
I feel
like Thor cheated a little bit.
Why?
He had to call on the Odin Force, man.
Well, I mean, it's Hulk. He's already in special form.
Yeah, if it was Thor versus Bruce Banner, I'm pretty sure you can spit on Bruce Banner and he'd fall down.
Well, what I'm trying to say is Thor's superpower is not just his strength, it's his everything.
Okay, then Thor won the fight. And
I feel like he did.
Because there's been a thing for years, decades, where comic book characters want to know, in a fight, who would realistically win between Thor and the Hulk.
And that's why they ended it the way they did, so there was no official, crowned winner, so that they could continue that, ambiguous argument. But the reality is that Thor kicked his butt, and if Thor hadn't been taken down, he probably would have taken the Hulk down the rest of the way.
You think he would have killed the Hulk? No.
No, of course not. Hulk's his friend.
I think the Hulk was trying to kill him, though. That's for sure.
Oh, he was, yes.
Yeah, which is where the Odin Force came from, right?
But that's the Hulk.
Yeah.
The Hulk. He doesn't have control.
Hulk raging fire. Thor smoldering flame.
Thor water.
Yeah. So you're right. All right. So I guess Thor won the fight, and the way they ended it was good because we still don't know who would have won.
Yeah. It's not 100%.
But if you start doing math,
Thor won the fight.
If you start doing math, guys, there's a few Thor comic books where he takes like the plates of the tectonic plates on a planet, and with two arms pulls them back together. Okay, you're talking about like 23 sextillion tons of force. So
yeah,
I don't remember Thor ever lifting something that heavy. That's all I'm saying is.
Listen, all I'm saying is that comic books kind of get out of control a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay? That's all I'm saying.
The reason why I would say the Hulk would win eventually, is because the Hulk gets stronger the madder he gets. So the longer a fight would go, the Hulk would eventually get stronger and stronger and stronger and eventually win that fight, I think.
Okay.
All right. But that's the end of our show, and we're going to end it on not knowing who's going to win that fight, just like the movie did.
Yeah, but we got to talk about the spoiler, or we got to talk about the credit scene.
Oh, you're right. Let's bring up the first credit scene. Can you run that down?
Yeah. You got it up there?
No, I have no screenshots. How can I have screenshots of a movie that's in theaters right now?
Oh, well, excellent call. Because you're amazing at this, and I just figured you would. So basically, it's the first credit scene. It's
Thanos'
Loki. Yeah, it's Loki and it's Thor, and they're on the bridge of their ship talking about, oh, we're going back to Earth, and all of a sudden their faces go like this, right? And then it shows a whiteout shot, basically, of their little ship right in front of Thanos' ship, and you're like, boom. Tied together, Infinity Wars. Buddy.
I have one problem, Shane.
Okay.
They just did all that to rescue all those people, and Thanos is going to vaporize them.
Probably not.
Well, I do know what happens in the first 10 seconds of Infinity Wars.
Well, all right. Well, that's not good.
So unless there's another way that Thor is floating in space, I guess we're going to find out.
Yeah. Maybe he goes aboard Thanos' ship and gets,
I really hope that all their efforts are not for naught because Thanos showed up. That would upset me.
There is no way Marvel will allow the Asgardians to be destroyed that way. No way.
You know why Thanos is there is because Loki, when he was passing in the trophy room, he passes the Tesseract and he takes it with him. All right, so second credit scene, not as important. It was just sort of a fun way to end the Grandmaster's character. But they show the Grandmaster coming up his broken ship, and he takes credit for the revolution, which was such a Jeff Goldblum thing to do.
That is so great.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, thank God, yay for me, right? Because like I was this guy you need to revolt against, so I guess we're both, the reason why, you guys are now free, right? So yeah, that's great.
That's great, great moment.
Yeah. And that's gonna end it for our show today, guys. Let us know below what you thought of the movie. What was your favorite scene? And who was your favorite character, okay? Remember that when we go through the comments and for the big 1,600 subscriber thing, every person that comments it can potentially be part of that drawing. So get in there and comment. Let us know, like I said, what you thought of the movie, who your favorite character was, and what you want to see happen for Infinity War, which I guess we should be getting the trailer now pretty soon for that. Maybe on Justice League.
Yeah. Also, don't forget, we're also into another boxing video, even though we haven't shot the most recent one. There is another one still going, so your comments also get put in for the special boxing video, too.
Yes, sir. Okay, we'll see you guys on Monday for Star Trek Discovery, so please come back and check us out if you're watching that series. And have a great weekend. Rock on.
Rock on. See you guys Monday.
The devil's anus.
Right on, brother.
Right on.